beside me. All right. We are live from North Kakalaki with my man, That's Man again, from the hashtag Dirty South.
Dirty South, Dirty South, Dirty South.
That's right. In case y'all haven't been noticing, he'll be probably joining me on most of my broadcasts from now. Me and him have talked about it, unless he's got something going on and whatnot. So even if I have guests, I want him on to give me another voice.
I'm the sidekick, y'all. I'm the
I don't want to say that.
I'm the Robin.
I think you bring a lot. I see I have nobody watching. I'm hoping everybody figures out that I'm on a different channel because I put it out there. I'm still learning the starting broadcast. So I put it on there using this time. Last time I just used StreamYard. I am. I use StreamYard. And then this time I use Live, but I'm using StreamYard. I don't know. Trying to figure it all out. Old man with electronics over here.
I'm with you, bro.
I wanted some people to get on here so I can get how many days away from the national we are. I know we're under 3 months, so we're knocking on that door, hoping to start probably in 2 months. Start having guests on and everything that point towards that national. I have some people in mind. For that and some shows to start. I hope we get. Oh, there we go. We got a viewer. Hey, whoever's watching right now, go to my other one and tell everybody that I'm over here.
We can get some people watching. Hey, just to let you know, I got a guy that here in North Carolina. He's over in Raleigh that I work with.
Yep.
And he is huge in the hobby. He showed me some of his cards yesterday. And, dude, we're all three going to hook up. And he is going to give us some leads on some good card shops in the Triangle in the Raleigh area. And anytime he's available, he'll go. He'll meet us up at the fairgrounds for that show.
Yep.
He's down with it because I told him, I said, man, I said, I've got a buddy of mine. He's moved back east. And I said, we're trying to do the triad stuff. And
I like the score place, Scoremore, but it doesn't have a lot of singles.
The only place I've ever found where they have a bunch of singles is the Charlotte Card. I think it's Charlotte Card Shop down here. Off of 485 Valentine. They have a lot of singles.
It's the same kid that hijacked your channel a few weeks ago. I had to, I thought on Friday I was going to have to do a fit test at work where they put on a full face respirator and squirt stuff in your face. You seal it and they see if you're fit, you know how to tighten your mask and it fits and everything. And they didn't do it. They just did a breathing test on me. And so I didn't even have to shave, but I shaved. So
because you gotta have for the
seal.
Yeah,
but we've proven not having a beard like you, but my beard like I usually have, short, usually doesn't hinder.
Well, that's the thing at the police department where I worked at. They wouldn't allow us to have beards or goatees, even if you were out of uniform. If you worked investigations, you couldn't have it. And you'd have a mustache. It had to be, it was military regulations.
Trim your mustaches.
Yeah, so now they let them wear beards if they're really short, like what you're talking about.
Right.
Even with the gas mask. So
right. Yeah. Because we wear the dust mask, the K95 that I think everybody knows about now because of the.
They were already high and made them even higher to get.
Yeah. So, hey, I hope, Mike, you're watching the game, the rubber match tonight. The Yankees still banned the beard. I know.
Hey, 357, Mike.
Yep. Oh my God, Harper tried to bunt. Bryce Harper just tried to bunt. Anyway, he just tried to bunt again. I don't know what he's doing.
You get the MLB package?
Yeah, but tonight they're on ESPN, and actually, they have Francisco Lindor mic'd up. That was pretty cool. He was talking during the plays and stuff. Well, yeah, Scherzer owned y'all us up for Schwarber. Schwarber crushed that ball in the second.
Now I want you to validate how many teams you get blacked out that you can't.
Well, I was at my dad's house Friday night, and I sit down on the couch, and I went to pull up the Mets game on my phone. I was going to mirror it on the TV, and it was blacked out. The Mets Phillies, and Mike
was Phillies.
Was it broadcast on any other channel other than the Phillies and New York? Was that like a nationally broadcast game? Was that the Apple game Friday night? Because we couldn't figure it out. I guess
he just that when he says
maybe you could turn that bunt into a triple like Mike Trout. Yeah, that was the old check swing for the triple. Yeah,
at least here it's the Phillies.
Right.
Down here in Charlotte, the Charlotte area is the Phillies. Like
right.
I could get any New York game.
Well, I was getting the Mets games, no problem. And the Phillies, when they played the Phillies last time, I was in Iowa. So I got those games.
You got that one, yeah.
And I think that night it was on Friday night, the no-hitter game was on FS1. Because I didn't get to see the no-hitter game. I got to see last night's game where he left men on base, bases loaded twice.
Well, I mean, heck, now I got to thinking about it. Shoot, you're close enough up there to the Hurricanes. If whoever your hockey team is, if they play them, you could see your favorite hockey team now.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I'll go see Hurricanes games regardless. I love going to hockey games. But
what is it? Go see the fights. Go see a fight on ice in the.
Well,
hockey game
big boys don't fight very much anymore. The minor leagues will, because that's a good way. Yeah, I know you. I just got your message today, Mike. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I didn't get your message. That was weird. I just got it today, and Friday. I left work, drove up to Virginia, spent the weekend with the parents. I did Mother's Day this weekend. And I got to see my godson got himself a job now after college. His girl's graduating from nursing school in 2 weeks. They're going to Bora Bora after that. Then they're going.
Man, that is good to hear. A young couple that's got their head screwed on right, and they're making
their first apartment. And, I took him out to dinner Friday night, and we celebrated. Thoughts about Bauer, longest non-drug suspension since the Black Sox in 19. Yeah, we could get on that before we get into some hobby news real quick. We could talk some. To me and my dad talked, and I saw what Natsman posted. I can't remember if it was in our chat group or on one of the socials. You made a very good point. Cards at the Cages in Greensboro is having a card show on May 30th.
Yeah, that's a baseball cage, and they got a small area where they do cards at. So
okay.
That might be a good one to go to.
Yeah, that May 30th. Is there something I'm doing that weekend?
Yeah.
There's something going on that weekend. But
you're still going to be winning that day.
Yeah. Bring Ed on to talk about Bauer and his Bauer investment. Would love to hear how that's going.
I think that's
it's going to be at the Grasshoppers minor league stadium, which should be awesome. Okay. Yeah. I have an event too at work with the Grasshoppers through my work. I mean, it's not it. I guess they have like a party pavilion or something at that field, and I don't know. Our place rented it out, so It is the power. Yeah, I feel Nats man made a great post. We'll follow up just a little bit. I think they should have waited. If it's about because they got more people coming forward in the one that already did, then they should get the evidence. Unless it's just people. Is Schwarber hitting another home run and I haven't seen it yet? Because I got it on right here, Mike. July 30th. Okay. Well, July 30th, I'm not
We're
going
going
to
to be AC trip.
be Atlantic City. So, I think that was a jump in the gun, especially when he's not found guilty of anything. I mean, first they made him out of the league, and then, I don't know. It's just too many people are getting caught in this, especially people of money, getting finger pointed at them. And he did hit another home run. God,
time frame. People are forgetting. That this was during the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm talking about.
That culture in California, Southern California is crazy. And then, when I, just for y'all to let you know what I said is basically we're forgetting you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
All right. So the police didn't bring charges forward. And I've got experience in sexual assault cases.
Because he was a policeman.
As a police officer, as a detective.
Yes,
as a detective.
Let's state what side you're on.
So, this is typical throughout the country that this happens.
Continue on, Max, man. I'll be right back.
Is that the case is investigated, and then you would bring it to the district attorney's office, and they would determine whether or not there's enough probable cause to obtain a warrant. And even if there was, is there mitigating circumstances on their side that they probably wouldn't get a conviction on based on what you've got? So to me, either one of two things have happened. Either there was no evidence to support the allegation, which that's what it is an allegation. Or two, there was, but there was too much mitigating. And with these additional people evidently now stepping forward since this decision came out, I think 3 more people came out, is that they may look at it again, review it, look at it again, do the investigations, and then possibly move forward. The DA would give the omnibus blessings for a warrant for these kinds of cases. Same thing on the homicides. All those kind of cases go to a DA's office for law enforcement ever takes on.
If I think if the proof is there, he's done something malicious to somebody, he should never play baseball again. Seriously, in all seriousness.
Yeah, I agree. If you're guilty of that, then yeah, absolutely. But
I mean, that's that.
I think they jumped the gun suspension without pay because he's been suspended with pay.
Right.
I think the Dodgers don't want to pay him either, but.
Yeah, I mean, but geez, I don't know. Because he's going to get probably blacklisted anyway in the league.
Yeah, his career's over.
Right, just because how he is anyway, because of his.
Which would be interesting. Let's say he gets banned, like he is. It stands. He's appealing it. That's his right to appeal. But I know MLB has relationships with the Mexican League and with the Japanese and the Korean leagues. Those would be the 3 typical leagues somebody would go to that would have been in the MLB. Do you think
or the Korean League?
Yeah, Korea, Japan, and Mexico.
Okay, but I mean, he can go. They got ties with Italy and Australia too. They started those leagues. Not many people know those leagues there, but
I know typically it's where if the MLB player, the MLB says, "Yeah, we'll let him play with y'all."
I just my thing is like I don't necessarily feel bad because I know where there's smoke, there's fire of some sort. So and just how he is, but his agent, I don't know if he still has the same agent. If people don't know, she
Yeah,
is
Rachel is.
female. Right. Huh?
Rachel's still his agent.
Yeah, and she's a good looking woman. And
Smart.
yeah, and I don't think she would stay with him if that was an issue. Because that puts her, because females in the sports world, their image is everything.
If you watch, have you seen any of his YouTube stuff?
No, not since it all came out, because he kind of went off the rails a little bit. So
he got back on the rails. I'll be honest. I'll watch his content.
Yeah,
and she's on there.
Yeah, because he was the only one that would come straight out and tell you what's going on behind the curtain.
And as far as the appeal, if y'all go to his channel and watch that, make sure you do not have any children. I'm being straight up. Do not have any children around when you're playing that, because it's pretty.
It's adults. Yeah,
it's adult sexual talk. So
yeah, and she, I don't think she, because she's guilty by association, and for her to still be with that to me is a big set of red flag, a green flag, right? So, but we're not there. We won't end.
Yeah, we don't know.
But we know with the one woman that there was other circumstances with other ball players.
Mm-hmm.
So
it showed on the field,
right? So it is what it is, and I hope they find out, and if he did it, then he needs to pay the price, and if he didn't do it, MLB better get a good lawyer.
All the cases I ever worked, I worked many cases, and I only had one case where it wasn't true. Like flat out had a suspect and it wasn't true.
Right.
But I mean, that doesn't say any. I mean, that's not saying that he's guilty by any means. I'm not saying that, but everybody just needs to. I think MLB should have waited. Manfield should have waited.
Let's get to some hobby talk. First off, some good news. I finally got my 2021 Allen and Ginter Topps Chrome box that I'd ordered right when they released Topps, and they sent me a Heritage Blaster box instead. So I finally got that in the mail. So that's a good thing.
Did you have to send the other one back?
Yeah, they made me send the other one back because Topps at $20 would have been it. That would have made them sell it to Fanatics sooner. Oh, they did anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That's how long ago it was. So the whole thing with Fanatics, everything, speedy delivery.
You don't have any luck with them getting product, do you? I don't understand that.
What it is. It's just, and I got stuff from
some
Mike
Star
this
Wars.
week, so I got some. I'll have video this week during midweek.
Because I got we both got Father's Day cards, because I said, hey, I got the Star Wars I Am Your Father set.
Right.
He said, you got it too. And I'm like, hey, I got mine in here. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I didn't think about it. I don't know if I got the second one. I got something today in the mail, something about the women, or this week, the women of.
Hello.
So, oh yeah, I like some of the ladies there. But and you brought this up. We talked before we got on, of course, and one of our friends, Bobbles, made a video on it, and we're going to chat about PWCC eBay going to bed together, right? Just from the way it sounds, why would they? I don't understand why they would, after the way they split. I don't quite understand.
I don't see the PWCC, and I'm scared.
Right. Well, nobody trusts them. Why would you get in the bid with them? I mean, I don't get that. Top selling basketball cards of retired players in their suits looking like 92 Bowman baseball.
Yeah, I wasn't really thrilled with that product.
Yeah.
It wasn't even sold out the second day after it came out.
So some guy did an opening today. I know Bobbles did one last week. Hey, Mike, did you want to release a video while I'm doing a live video tonight again, like you did last Sunday?
Not so much here or here.
It's bad enough.
I see the chat.
Canadian guy that's got to do a live broadcast with his 1,000 people viewing him.
But yeah, that I don't understand. With the PWCC, there's they say that there's they've got an employee that works there that is part of shield bidding, and then like posting their own cards on Instagram. Somebody sent me a text on that today on a channel that I used to watch. But I don't know, man. I watched that video and I was just like, wow, just wow. So I mean, I don't understand how they've got this relationship as much back and forth. There's bantering has gone back and forth between them.
Well, let me ask you this, Nats, man. This just came in my mind, and my dad watches a lot of news. He's on the internet. He's retired. He ain't got much going on, so he's always on the internet reading stuff. And I tell you what, in Virginia, the gas prices there, the cheapest I could find was $4.01 that wasn't at Sam's Club. So me and my dad went to my dad's got a Sam's Club card, so we went and we filled up my truck before I left. Down here I could find it for $3.55. We got a place here. And I'm in Winston. It's not like it's a small little town somewhere. It's a big town.
It's big.
So, but it's it's everybody's under $4 until you get on by the highways. Then those ones right there are like $4. So with this going on, I know the travel is going to go down because of this, just like it did in 2003, right, or 2008. They pretty much destroyed the beaches and everything like that. I'm watching the Mets game tonight. The Mets are playing the Phillies. Threw a team no-hitter on Friday. And I got a point here, Mike. I'm not just bringing that up to bring it up. But so they did that, and they have Scherzer pitching tonight. It's a huge rivalry. And I don't even think the stadium's half full on a Sunday night game. There's a lot of empty seats there. So you're starting to see things like when that starts going on, when does the ball cards fall into that, right? When is movies, when is everything for entertainment purposes? Do you think we're on the edge of something like of this whole thing, not collapsing, but going
like a hobby recession kind of deal?
Yeah, and we thought it was going to come with COVID, and the opposite happened. People needed something to do while sitting at home, and everybody started working from home. Well, I mean, what's people think out there too that's watching this? For some reason, it kind of got me thinking on my 3-hour ride back today a little bit.
Yeah, I think with the recession, and I know, as far as I'm concerned, and if y'all haven't watched Bobble's video on this, I would suggest go watch it because there's actually some very good points on there. I would suggest go over his channel and watch that. But I get my viewpoint is my 2 cents is that part of that is that I have a separate account, funds separate from paying my bills to buying cards. Now, I know what my little loot pot there is, my bank account, and it's like, well, do I want to buy? I'm not buying a set of a seal box cards for $1,000 or $500 more. I'm not doing it because you're not getting a return investment on it. I mean, you're going to have to sit on it in my opinion,
not even for entertainment,
baseball stuff.
Yeah,
you're going to have to sit on it, and I don't want to sit on it that long. But then you're going to lose money when you break it,
right?
So am I still buying cards yes, I'm way more. I think people are going to be like this. They're going to be way more selective, and it's going to be singles. It's going to be raw cards, and it could be slabs if you can get a good deal. I think prices on slab cards are going to go down significantly, and that's because people are being picky.
Right.
It's going to be a consumer market for their side for pricing. That's my opinion.
I got asked at work. A guy was shopping around, and he's just starting to get into graded cards.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asking me, why is he finding graded cards at like $5 and stuff? And I was like, well, because he knows how much it is to get graded now because he's just getting into it. He doesn't understand that just 2 years ago it was $8 to get it graded or whatever. So me and him had that discussion. But also we're flooded, not flooded, but there's certain cards that people took flyers on and those guys didn't pan out. And I explained to him, you get a modern card graded and you don't get a 10, you're getting hit. A 9 is almost the same as a raw, and anything below that is less than a raw.
Yeah.
So you're just selling it to get rid of it at that point, and let somebody else have it. On a modern, non-numbered, short printed, whatever, just a base card. So, it just throws more layers to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
it depends on the player too. Like, you brought this up before. It depends on the player and the sport.
Right. And now for me, I have funds for for the hobby. I have my hobby funds, and I try not to go out of that. But if things keep gas and things go up, sooner or later, those hobby funds are going to need to be used to put gas in your car, right? Or somewhere else. It's nice. It's a nice thought to think you got money sitting there, but sooner or later you're like, man, I don't want my bank account to go to zero, but I got this funds over here.
Yeah, that's different. There's a difference between the cost, like what you're saying, there's a difference between a cost of living pricing and living beyond your means pricing. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, cost of living increase, you got to trim the fat back. And the first part would be the hobby. To me, I would every 2 weeks I get paid, I take a percentage, a set amount of money, and I transfer it over to my hobby account every 2 weeks. And it can sit there. And I say hobby, heck, I can use that for DoorDash or whenever I want to use.
Right.
But I don't use it with the money that I pay my bills with.
Right.
Like, if it, gas keeps going up, folks are going to have to make price of food going up. Mm-hmm. I agree. You're going to see a reduction.
Well, and I want to tie this back to the PWCC eBay thing. So we're sitting here saying for a $200 card or more or whatever, PWCC is going to give a blessing, right, on the card.
Really?
Yeah, for whatever it is. And and we'll get to the other thing you brought up too, because I haven't seen that. And
I'm sorry.
For whatever, it's whoever's blessing is on it. I understand and I appreciate what eBay's doing, but I don't know on that. But what my point is like, if I got $200, and $200 to me means a lot more this year than it did last year, right? I want to make damn certain that my $200, if I want to spend it on a card, is getting spent in the right card, right? Mm-hmm. So, because of this, I think it's going to hurt them. It might. I don't think it's going to hurt them. It could, right? Because if people are sitting there going, man, here we go. We're taking cow dung and horse dung and making a dung sandwich. It makes me, I want the hobby to be fluid, and I just think eBay's taking a stretch doing something that they really didn't. Was this an issue? Was this an ongoing problem they were having? Because yes, you're going to have some with all the sales you're having happen, right? But is this a big enough problem to do this? It's almost like doing something that you didn't have to do.
Well, my cards, if I had a card and it was slabbed, and I saw there were certain folks selling on eBay, and they were using the similar wordage, and I would put in my listing that you are purchasing a card that has been graded by a third-party grading company, and this is their opinion.
Right.
You're buying, this is what you're buying. And I had somebody trying to kick back a card, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but eBay was like, "Nah, you're not getting a refund. You knew what you were getting."
Right.
Was the way they ruled. I don't know if I had something to maybe do with that disclaimer. This
So are they going to take a bigger percentage of those sales because of this, or?
Well, I think it was free to start out with at a certain dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and then I think at some point, if it's not been mandatory yet, it will be.
Right.
At a certain price point. I think it's the price point.
Right.
Is how they're doing it, by how much a card or a slab is.
The last thing, and another good note today is I went to my Walmart in my hometown in Virginia, and I've lived in several places now across this country, and it's the biggest damn Walmart I've ever been into. And I went, and probably one of the busiest, and I went in the card section, and they had the Megas of Heritage and Series 1. And not just one or two, they had a complete shelf full. Blasters, cards. It wasn't like the whole section, but they had a shelving section full. And also some Contenders basketball and Don Ross basketball and Pokemon. So I was right there. I was like, well, how is this here? And I could come down here, and it's like rummaging through a yard sale trying to find the cards. But anyway, it does give me a little bit of hope because my dad said he goes in Target now all the time and sees them in there, in where we're at in Virginia. But I down here, I can find them, but it's not, like a whole shelf full. But I picked me up a Series 1 Mega and a Heritage Mega because that was the first time I've seen a Heritage Mega box.
If you use the
Walmart, they weren't jacked up prices; they were at their regular price. So.
Bobbles was picking when I put this on his channel last night, I think it was, and so if you got the Walmart app, is very very more accurate than the Target app, in my opinion. Just two things: you can go in, if you use the app or go to Walmart site and make your home store. Mm-hmm. You can check. They're very good about what product they have in the store than what they're selling online from other vendors.
Right.
So that's a good thing. But if you do find a product, it's very much worthwhile to use the app and scan the barcode because you can get pricing differences from store to store. Right. And then if you've got a Topps coupon, sometimes Topps throws those coupons in there. You can use that as well. So if you found
it from the store, right,
you could find something that was reduced in a coupon, and you're getting good products. So,
yeah, because I saw the Bowman stuff was on Walmart, but it was actually from a vendor through Walmart. It wasn't actually Walmart,
right?
So price was jacked a little bit. It wasn't crazy. It was $10 more, I think.
You're like Home Walmart would say if they actually had it on the shelf, they would say, and we've got 3 Walmarts here where I'm at, and all 3 have been good. Yeah, when they've said they've had it, they've had it. When they haven't, they haven't.
Right.
So I mean, it's instead of having to go ride somewhere if you didn't want to, unless you wanted to get out and do it. But,
yeah, I mean that's. I kind of like to get some of that Bowman. I'm not paying Bowman prices though for hobby boxes. So I'll just keep checking the apps, and if I got to pay $10 more for a blaster to get a couple, I might.
is this the prospect box or the regular Bowman that's out?
What's out now is the regular Bowman. Should be Bowman. Their first series of Bowman for the year, because was it Bowman and Bowman Draft? Is the two, and then you got Bowman Chrome later, which is just Chrome, which will be just prospect. So this one's going to be Bowman. What 1 through 100 will be veteran players, and then after that will be Bowman prospect BP, and then BCP for Chrome prospects.
We had talked about this before. I was wondering if you didn't mind if I brought it up. I was going to ask Pat how many people have brought product from this vendor. And so out there in the chat, if you have bought any product from the, what was it, baseball card
Exchange. BCE.
Yeah, if y'all have bought from anything, put a 1, and if you haven't, put a 2. Just kind of curious.
Well, I would put a 1, but I have in the past. Way time ago. And
because there's some drama, alleged drama going on with them, and nothing to do with Pokemon.
Right. Go ahead and tell your story that you told me that somebody else brought to you.
Yeah, I got a text and said, "Hey, did you hear about Baseball Card Exchange? That allegedly he was the that Michael Jordan Fleer set. It was a box, and there was a box of cards, and got sent to get vetted that it was legit, and allegedly there was a card that was indicated to have been tampered with, and one pack had been opened previously. And allegedly what has happened is that Baseball Card Exchange went and got 2 packs that they had vetted as being sealed, threw it in the box to replace those 2, and then wrapped and sealed it Baseball Card Exchange as being legit sealed product.
Right.
So heard that, and that, God, my question is, we had talked about it, is when did they become? I know they have a relationship with eBay and PSA, but where in the hobby did they get the ones to say, yeah, we're the one that makes that decision, whether or not something is legitimately a sealed product or not fraudulent or anything like that? Because I was out of the hobby when they came up. So
right. Well, I know they've been around a little while now, but in Iowa there's a card shop there, and they deal with a lot of 80s and 90s product. They even got 70s and 60s. I don't think they got anything. They got a couple, and the guy there wraps it up and puts his initials shrink wrap on it and says it's legit because it's got his initials on it. And I was like, well, okay, he's copying Baseball Card Exchange, but okay, he might be just as legit or better than that what they're saying. So I know the guys been doing, those guys at Baseball Card Exchange has been doing it a while. But I'm with you. I brought it up earlier. How and why we have just accepted that they, know what they're doing. And like I told you before, when you were talking, you're saying it's the 86 Fleer set, which is a monster set. It's not just Jordan. it's got some big cards in there because if I remember correctly, that was the first set of basketball that was made for a few years. So with that many players in it or whatever, so I don't I don't do a lot of basketball or if any, but when it's that much money being put in front of you and that much money being thrown around, it will mess with your ethics, I would think. I don't know if it would me. I haven't been put in that situation. If anybody wants to test me, let's do it. But, I think, morality and ethics, that's anybody can be moral and ethically right when we're talking about a blow pop and a Slim Jim. But you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, life-changing money, things that can pay off bills, pay off houses and stuff. Do you look the other way? Do you close one eye? Do you look through, fingers?
You make a shortcut. You just
doesn't make it right. It does not make it right. But and it doesn't. I'm not trying to just try to be a little devil's advocate, and I'm trying to I can understand where these issues may lie, definitely. But these guys. I think with some of the stuff that's come up, the things that I talked about last week, some of the stuff we're talking now, some other stuff in the hobby this year, I think this year's national may be a little interesting more than just card trading in lobbies. This might be a year where we might actually get some words said to one another on the floor, or somebody confront some of the vendors.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this is kind of a personal thing going on now, and
now you're trying to rob people's families of money.
That it puts a bad taste in people's mouths. I mean, if you're sitting there and you're trying to grow the hobby like Fanatics is saying, you can't have this stuff going on too on the other side of it. And it's nothing that Fanatics can do about it. I'm not saying it's them or something else, but all of us want the hobby to be healthy, which I don't agree 100% that the hobby's healthy now or has been in the last 3 or 4 years. But the hobby has changed, and we have to change with it or go away.
Go ahead. On the floor. What I got to thinking about this, especially after the whole card ladder incident that y'all discussed last week. And it's one, two things. One would be negotiating a price. What database are you going to agree with to use with a vendor or somebody else? Because you got 130 eBay, going blank, JD's Group.
Yeah, Card Hedge. You got
Card Hedge.
Vintage card pricing, the VCP.
Yeah,
that's the whatever. Vintage Bible.
So who do you use?
And that's a great point. I haven't even thought of that. I like to use what's going on in the hot, but all of them to me, and and they're good tools. There are tools, and it's a tool that's meant to be used for what it's made for. You're not supposed to use a wrench as a hammer, or whatever. A hammer as a screwdriver. So for me, you get a good idea with the tools, but especially something that's short printed, or the last 6 months there was only 10 sales. To me, I've always said this: if two guys that really want that product are bidding for it and drive the price up for it, and then all of a sudden that's the set price, so then the next people to go to sell it's supposed to be more than that price. I don't understand that, because in theory, the person that wanted it the most has already got it. So it should be lower, not higher after that, right? Unless something happens that makes that card more and more sought after in the hobby.
I don't know if anybody's watching. I can't tell on my side, but if there's anybody, were you 7? I mean, do any of y'all use a database for pricing?
I have them and I use them every once in a while, but I just go to eBay and see to get an idea, and if it feels right, even if it's, I don't go by that price. Now I'll get it and say I'm looking at a card and it's on there. The last one sold for $350,
and you got your fees with eBay, right?
What's that?
And that's with the fees, right?
Right. And even then, I'm not going to go, well, I'm not paying over $250 for it. That's not card. But see, I've been doing this for a while. And even if you haven't, you got to have some feeling like that card is this amount and willing to pay whatever is there or go not or walk away. That's it. And it's your right as the purchaser to do that. And not, I've always been that way. And because let's talk, before eBay or the early days of eBay, we had Beckett, and we know Beckett was just a guideline anyway. It wasn't. Huh?
I was too poor to have a Beckett.
Yeah, or tough stuff, whatever you know, or whatever. Most of us, let's be for real, we just traded the cards. Oh, you got a Don Mattingly, and I and I have the, what, Wade Boggs. Let's trade. You like Wade, then I take the Don Mattingly and go get a Gary Carter from somebody. I didn't care. We didn't care. We just wanted the cards that we wanted. Until it got to be when we started bigger cards, then your parents would step in and go, "You're not trading that for that," or whatever. But anyway, I just when it comes to that, what the pricing and the price guides and using different charts and all of that. Got to mall show this weekend, still considered Beckett gospel. I've ran into that all the time in Iowa, Mike.
You said that,
Mike. You'll run into a lot of vintage guys that still go, well, it's booked at X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, it's a graded card. You could throw the Beckett out the window at that point.
Mike, do you think that might be with the different on trying to negotiate a price? Do you think that with the way pricing is, do you think that's going to be an issue on negotiations? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, in let's face, last couple of years they had Card Ladder, they had Jeff Wilson's product, and you had eBay, and then you had the 130 or I-30 or whatever it is. So you had a couple, and now they got the guy now that you could just scan the card and information comes up. Supposedly, I haven't got that app yet.
The guy that's got the app that has a database of his grades of graded cards.
Right.
But
I mean, let's be real. Jeff Wilson, when he started his, was only posting cards that him and his group wanted to see the prices of. But they were, and I'm not trying to speak bad of Jeff Wilson, they were using the product for their benefit. That's business. That's capitalism. So, it's up to us to see through it, right? And the same thing with Card Ladder. Blatantly, they were doing basketball, newer stuff. Like Bible said, putting 1 of 1s on there. Who cares? It's a 1 of 1, a 1 of 5. How many of those are going to get sold? RPAs from Flawless. They're sitting there going after all this big stuff because they wanted to go, hey, we got all the big stuff on there. For what reason, I have no idea, where most of the card population is down here with us. I got a gold, Topps Gold out of Series 1. How much is that So that's kind of like that's where I'm at. I get happy when I get a red or Father's Day or something. I'll have a party, and so it's the Jeff Invisible. Yeah, it just these market tools, they're just that, a tool, and it's a starting point. And just like getting them graded, it's a starting point in the process of what you have. Um,
Awesome.
Modern cards, not so much, but older cards, it's just, for me, having graded cards and buying graded cards for vintage that's very not prolific in the vintage market that I am, it helps me out 100%. It's makes it so much easier. It's not the end all be all, because not all fives are same, not all twos are the same. You got to know what you're looking for and the prices of those. But it's a good starting point. It's not the end and it's not the beginning. It's just there for us to work around, and all the tools are there for that. It's not bad to have all these tools. It's just, marketplace is better than this one, and this one's better than this one, and they're just different. And JD's our friend and all, and I think Cardhead is probably the one that's heading in the right direction, because they're legitly going at and just putting cards on that are being sold and traded and all that on a larger scale, not necessarily the high point, low point. They're looking at the whole picture and putting those cards on there. The ones
they're drawing so many different databases.
And
sales, auction houses and stuff.
Right. And they don't have the resources that Jeff Wilson's group does, but they're getting there. Yeah, VCP is great for pre-war. Mike, I agree with you. VCP for vintage, that's the Bible. I like to know who's got him when I go to shows, so I know who to ask. One of my dealer friends at the show, Iowa, when I went there, I'd go hit his up all the time. So hey, see you later. But most of the time, you got to just know what you're looking at before. Not know, have a good idea. And the tools, like I said, we'll keep saying that the tools are there for us to get there, and be smart about it. And don't. And that's the other thing for JD. JD's price range on Cardedge, and I'll have it down in the link in the bottom if anybody wants to take a look at it. I'm not pushing it by any means, and I'm not trying to push it because he's a friend of ours. But
a good tool.
The price range, the price point, you're not. What is it? $15 or less a month
or less, and I think you get certain things you can look up free now.
Yeah, and what is it? Card Ladder and the I keep saying Jeff Wilson's, and I can't. Market
Sports Card Investor.
Yeah, Market Movers. Those are expensive. I mean, you're talking about buying a decent card every month with the price you're buying that for. I mean, that's some people's weekly allowance for cards, much less anything else.
I think on Cardheads, they're still working on getting an app. So I think when they get an app, I think they'll probably do even better. But if you get a card that's not on there, mm-hmm. and you're a subscriber, mm-hmm. send it to them, and usually within 48 hours, it's posted on there, and they'll email you back, "Thank you, we've got the card listed."
Right. Yeah, and they listen to their customer base. That's why I said they got all the stuff that's going in the right direction, and I wish them well. They're kind of the guys that are not talked about them much, but I think they got a lot of respect in the community amongst them. I think they're the ones that people are looking at, like they're coming along.
Anything else you want to talk about tonight, Nets, man?
I'm
Hey,
good.
Mike, are you watching the game?
No,
I just saw the score.
I'm not watching anything. I don't have anything. I've
Yeah.
been watching recaps on YouTube. So
Yeah, like I said, I was out of town this weekend and visiting the parents and getting some stuff done private in my private world. Hopefully, my move is done now. I just got to pay off some bills from Iowa in my personal world, and I am now. We're getting what less than anybody. Anybody got to count on how long we are away. Where is my man, Refractor Jones and Mr. Gilliam at tonight? They usually know how many days we are for the national.
yeah, we need to do a countdown.
Yeah, I should do one, have it up, posted up when I'm on here. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. We'll get Mike on here before him and Ed again, and I got a couple other people in mind. Oh, you got an epic mail day video coming up in a few days, Mike? I can't wait. You say epic. I wonder what that is. I don't know. Should I go to the National? Yes, you should. You better get a place. Dave texted me the other day telling me you still haven't got a place yet.
I don't see how y'all don't have a place yet. Y'all are like the granddaddies of
Yeah, they're the OGs, man. Come on. You can't have the National
without y'all there.
That group marching behind those back pages everywhere there. Come on.
I know he hasn't put out any videos, but I reached out to Eric, and he has been slammed at work. So that's why we haven't seen
he put out a video today, I think, or yesterday.
Unless he put something out today, but he hadn't put anything out recently.
No one will take us in. You ought to find out at No Room at the End. You ought to find out from Victor where he got his room at. He said he's 20 minutes out, like away from the place. So, because he just got his room this past week or week before.
I would assume y'all got those VIPs with the parking passes. So,
well, I think Ed Westergriff said he's going to commute every day an hour. That would suck. So you're telling me at night you're going to, it's no way you're going to go to the after show things at night if you're going to do that.
He's going to be laid up in Stoff's shower, sleeping. And Bob was cuddling in that shower.
Yeah, well, Stoff, that poor fella's got to leave like Friday afternoon. Oh, you booked out. Who's with you, Mike? We're having a conversation with Mike. I might as well just invited him on.
Yeah, put him on.
Man, Sunday probably a year or two away from me making my first national. Seems like that's something that needs to be planned.
Cool. Yeah, we're staying at we got a house too.
Hitman, Jeremy, and one other guy to be named later, or is that like a trade option?
Yeah,
money offer. Man, Sunday probably a year or two away. So Colorado sports dude here hasn't been to a national. Says it. He thinks it'll take a year out to plan. And I can tell you right now that is not true, especially Chicago. You could probably get a room in Chicago up to the event. Now, it might be 10, 15 minutes away, but you can get an Uber or a taxi, and almost all the hotels have some type of shuttle service. And it's enough of us numbskulls around there. Okay. Player to be named later. He gets drafted or gets traded a lot. The player to be named later.
Yeah, go stealth camping.
So, we'll put a tent in Bobble's yard. Anyway, that So, so I'm competing against Hobby Hotline tonight. Why are they live, or is that something late? So Colorado got you. You can get it, especially Colorado, Chicago. If it goes back to Cleveland, which some are hoping. Atlantic City's tough because the hotels are so spread out. So many of them are casinos that will just kill you. Yeah,
so you can do this.
Exactly right. What's that?
Did the National actually do a hotel list this year?
They did, but even I noticed the last time Atlantic City's prices are jacked for this week. They know it's a lot of people coming.
They don't have nobody going. Atlantic City is dead.
Yeah. The whole year they give all these discounts, and my buddy, he was trying to get us a discounted room. I told you, and his wife called to get the discounted room, or her room that they usually just give to her for free to come up there, and they said no, not that weekend. That she has to call back like the week before, and they probably wouldn't be able to give it to her for free. And it's just crazy. Yeah, he did hit a bomb. Jesus Christ. He crushed that ball.
That's my parent company. I couldn't find nothing. As an employee under the parent company umbrella, I couldn't find it. Typically you can get anything.
Yeah. Atlantic City sucks. It really does. Like Mike said, the only reason it's there is because it's East Coast. Chicago's setup is the best. I actually like the Cleveland site the best because how big it is and how much room. And actually the food inside is not too overly priced, and you get better food there. And then and they have a Ferris wheel inside their building. I can't get over the Ferris wheel that runs inside the building. The Chicago, the only reason why I wish they would move it around more is to just for me to go to different places, to be honest. To have it in Chicago every year, yes, I'd go and have fun, and I think it'd be great. But to be honest, I kind of like going to different places. And when I watch, if anybody has a chance to go back on Baseball Collector, interviewed the guy that coordinates it in last year when he was on it's on Bench Clear Media, and they were asking him why he doesn't do it more places, and he said he had to have a certain size. And I heard Atlantic City's pretty small, and it's no way you can't tell me that there's bigger convention centers in other places. I know Baltimore said it's too small, but I heard like Denver's big, and I tell you, the show is so big right now, and there's so many people that go to it. They could have it on the moon, and the dealers would make it there. So don't tell me having it on the West Coast, the dealers are not going to come. That's BS. They don't. The dealers don't control the show anymore. We control the show now. We're the reason they can have it in Atlantic City. And I tell you what, if us as the people that go, all of a sudden the next time it's in Atlantic City, go screw this, we're not going. Guess what? They won't have it in Atlantic City no more. But they can have it in Atlantic City because they know they can have it anywhere, and Atlantic City gives it to them for free. And we go. We just suck it up, find a way, and go. So, I mean, me and Nats man are going to drive 8 hours to get up there. I already got it mapped out. So it's not going to be a bad drive right up 81. And we should be there in a day if we want to be there. And, you know, because of that, I think in September, I think, I'm going to go to a Philly show, I think. So, and then in October, it's the Chantilly show. So,
That's what too.
Yeah,
Chantilly.
Chantilly's good, and it's the same people that do Chantilly and the Philly show. If I'm not, don't think I'm wrong, because I went to both websites, kind of looking at things, and it looks like the same people that do it. When are we going to Cooperstown, Mike? You tell me, and next year when we can go, I'll go. Didn't Dave and Adams put a store in Cooperstown, in the town now? One of them did. I can't. I thought it was Dave and Adams put a store in Cooperstown.
Before we get off here, real quick, did you see what they're doing with the Field of Dreams?
They're going to make little league fields.
They're making little league fields, a bougie hotel.
That was the plan before the MLB stadium. That was the original plan. I've seen the mock-up pictures where they were going to make a round. Like in the middle was going to be like the concessions and their offices and the fields around it. And then MLB came in with their thing. But now they're going to do this. So right in the middle of Kansas would be nice. Field of Dreams style. Denver would be awesome, obviously, for me, 45 minutes away. Yeah, well, when I saw Colorado, yeah, I mean, even Richmond has a huge convention center, and at the racetrack, at the old state fairgrounds, they have a huge building for when the races come, and everybody has their race. Every race team, has their group of who supports them in that area, right? The sponsors. And I've been in there with my sponsors. With one of my friends worked at a Chevy dealership, so we got to go in a Chevy part of it, and that place is huge. So I just know Charlotte's got to have something, and
yeah, they do.
And you can't tell me like a small college arena, not even a small one, a big one, or something like that. Middle America, Omaha, yeah. But Atlantic City is not the answer, but they're going to keep going because that's the rumor with Field of Dreams for years. Yeah, you're right, Profati. Like I said, I saw the actual mock-up for it. Nick's Foles cards. Yeah, I just, with the National, we'll get more and more dialed in with it. We're starting to get fever, the warmer air. Baseball is in their second month. It's national time. So,
man, I hate to do this. I have to get off. My phone is like getting ready to die.
Okay, I'm going to get off to it. All right, Nats, man. I appreciate you being on, brother. I'll talk to you.
Head up, eyes up, head on the swivel. Deuces.
See you. They should announce the next few nationals at this year's national. Yeah, I'm really hoping. I know I seen a thing where they were going to talk to Cleveland again, since it's owned and operated by somebody else now. Their places are not close, but it's a nice place. I'm sure it will not be anything other than the norm, but I guess, yeah. It's going to be Chicago every other year, and what's the other places? It's going to be Atlantic City because they get it for free, and then we'll see after that. But guys, it's been fun. Hopefully the Mets can hang on for a couple more innings, win another set. I mean, they're playing good ball. They did this last year, boys and girls, and fell apart after the All-Star break. So we'll see. And sorry about your feels, brother. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And I will have a video this weekend. I'm sorry I didn't have one this past or this Sunday. I got some SGC in through Mike's group. I got some purchases through Mike's group and others. And, I'll have some right there this week. So until next time, see ya.